There's a upcycle, recycle, reduce, reuse, repurpose, and repair. This is the only place in the world you would see a concrete picket fence, interlocking, freestanding. I'm a little thing going here too. My name is Eli. I live on the corner of Lois Avenue. I'm an industrial designer. When you go by intellectual properties, the material don't matter. So I have a variety of different materials. I do my picket fences and things like that. On Facebook, my number is 747-7811. I express in an urban permaculture studio as an industrial designer. I'm a mango chopper, right? I have tires that cut here. I'm going to tell you something. You see the cross cut here? Right? It's almost $10. That's a cut in this. That's the rate to grind that. So when you look at this, consider each one of these tires that cut. But anyway, they're for sale. Is a 3-seater, anything like in garden or rough places now. This is rubber. I have rubber stools selling for your exterior or wherever it is. Right? This Eli. I have upcycle. Right? A rocker. The pan not for sale. I have some kennels that build things, handmade items. Right? I do letters. Actually, it could function as a table. Right? So, I just want to make it, you know, advertise that this is what I do. I was told because of some narrative from, all of us are wrong and need some kind of psychiatric evaluation, you know, that kind of way. But some people have already been diagnosed. Even accused the neighbors like walking on top of the roof and all kind of things like that. But made a complaint about some tiles, so I move all. Because if they only know how much me do like rubber, after my experience with upcycle, recycle, reduce, reuse, repurpose, and repair for that material that is so durable, you know that kind of way? That hurt my man because tires still me off one and then to be having to express that. But outside of all of that, this is permaculture. This is industrial design. This is 747-7811. You know, I am really and truly, I was moving everything else. It's a cabin of building because I build things. I have kennels and sales. Right? And they run back chairs, different things like that. Right? So, understand that this environment, yeah, my brother. But what you doing? I'm not pleased. I'm not going down this road. Right? I have my little shadow benny growing there. I like herbs, you know, worm grass. There's a system that goes on fever grass, corylene, right, guavas. That's what it look like. Nothing collecting water, or even there, look like if it was to collect water. So I'm just asking for the education and the support. No ill intent call. It's just that the expression of our neurological position. You see, I don't advocate for people, especially mental health issues after the last 2 years, right? Or however it was. I think because standing in the middle of the dog fight between, you know, the old and the new money, I think that's a different conversation, right? Because that's where we are collateral damage in terms of it, but we have at least given the opportunity to use the internet this far, right, to make statements, and one of them could be questioned as to whether or not, at the position of the argument, whether the who's on first, what's on second, but I don't know who's on third, how long now. Don't misunderstand the statement. Who's on first, what's on second, I don't know who's on third. How long we get our information to work with, but we laughed. Today though, I can't make the idea of having to stand between the old money, the addictions that we have been manipulated to live down, educated on 40 days or a week, 40 years for 40% of the pay, and the whole, what they call it, I think the human computing power over 35% should be a lot more appreciated than this particular structure. For, I mean, it's two people come up with this system. A lot of people that interpret I mean, when it shifted from a constitutional republic to democracy, we don't know. But it's just the same. As we can see it, But in all of that, I think the human species right now, despite all the present, activities, nothing to me, according to the man who was advocating for him, because we get Thomas Jefferson and the Rockwell Tesla, they leave you out of that with that one. We never carry the human species forward because information would have always been the most valuable thing today. We call it data. So the data showing that our reality in relation to this fellow here, how something a million times bigger than us feeds us all our energy, was now a structure for education. With 35% prefrontal cortex. All these other neurologists are here talking, hands whoever pass one another straight. You know why it keeps them in the know? I had to interpret that. Because when we reach to the point which part we living in a society, good for you, kind of place, that's the end result of psychosocial construct because of the addictions, that the whole structure of civilization. When people reach a particular climax in wherever they accomplish, they say, let's go and do a what? Take a drink. So the whole Western society have been cultured and brought up with that particular place because the side effects was only spoke about by Bill and Bob in the back room smoking cigarettes. Right? That is a heavy topic, but because the new money now telling you, they mean what that. So you caught up in the middle. But most of us knowingly, right, and based on the circle of death, far down this road, because it's the last 50 years, when you look at what television do, when you look at the correlationship between the criminalization of cannabis, right, by the legalization of alcohol, with the introduction of television, and legalizing of the tobacco on the streets, when you look at that, right, it's like, oh, I had a little interruption. A nice one. But when you look at the clash of the information, you have to ask yourself, what is the freedom we're fighting for? If we're fighting for our freedom to just if it means that, let me double check the talk. If the slaves were aspiring to be like this tasteful plant across the structure, that was not the pinnacle of human society and civilization, and now today we do. The thing about it is not having humans, that particular place where, look at the population, global population. What we buying as culture is a disease from a drug, right? And I think the who's and first kind of understand that. I don't know, I'm trying to find out. But if I had to position myself in the conversation, but then why and where the other aspects of the whole structure, right? However, the whole structure. When you look at the other aspects of the whole structure, David, what happened? It's something else. I think it's time, based on the acceptance of most of the religiosities, that gives us the opportunity today to view in whatever way the education from some of the cataclysmic cycles of the planet. That's my position on it. Religion says so. We don't care who, as long as you follow in a school of thought. In this little island, right, that when you drive down the bus with everybody a water tank in the middle of the rainforest, and that is a rich statement, eh? And then you continue, right? And you see the rains that fall, and if it's 1% or something to have an umbrella, we never really prepare for the even the wet or the dry, right? But you see, then it's one media house, right? And everybody laughing with that, So when you look at the conversations, I think we're in a good place. We know what not to do. Right? But along with that, it's opportunities that are built in terms of the advancement of the human species right now, that I hope the people who actually has this position, right, doesn't see a plant, right, being purchased for 45 cents as the value of the plant. Understand this. The plant is not 45 cents. The most important thing is the land, to see the earth. And here we're telling you about a plant. When the beauty, you can't pay for the value, along with even whatever food or food that you get, the action of being so related that data is showing today that plants, you see the plants? I mean, come on. Any person in the plants will tell you that. And it is not stupid talk. Music has been played to plants and they grow better. And all the realities. Because what you're telling yourself is about the most important thing that you could ever, I mean, your self-talk, automatic negative thoughts is a mechanics in your brain that probably it was an educated position to have to function from a place from the almost the 9th or 10th generation, how long generation is thinking the results of Bill and Bob. You know that kind of way? So when you look at us having to work from that particular psychosocial-constructor thinking, come on. A plant has more value than the 45 cents.